Super Lucky Disaster Man. Chapter 17, became a part of the missing residents. Komaeda Nagito stood in the tunnel entrance pondering. Although he is not really fond of watching movies, the novel's script in this aspect is not much different. Things like clearly there is danger outside, everyone is afraid and gathers together, but there is someone who does not believe in it and separates with everyone, then ends up dead, are all common scripts. Now this situation is very similar to a lonely person discovering some secret base, the person goes to explore, the result is just to give head counts. But reality is not a movie nor a novel, it is very possible that if he does not enter this time, the clue inside gets moved when he comes the next time. Taking risk or not, this is the question. Komaeda Nagito did not ponder for too long, because in this case, prolonging any second will make oneself become more dangerous. Very quickly he made up his mind. Komaeda Nagito skillfully unlocked his phone, adjusted the camera, and quickly took several pictures of the entrance. He then switched to video mode to record the surroundings, so it's more convenient to find it the next time they came, then immediately sent it to Ayatsuji-sensei on the spot, and also sent his current location. What waits to return to tell, all are flags, this kind of clue if you do not tell others, save the opportunity to make people delete it. Of course if you can share it then immediately do so. Dodging countless flags, Komaeda Nagito on one hand waited for the text to be sent, on the other hand studied this mechanism a little, then closed the secret tunnel. The ground restored to its original appearance, at a glance looks very normal. Komaeda Nagito gently exhaled, raised his head to look at the sun, find a direction and began to return to the inn. Anyway, the clues were given out. He can be considered as helping Ayatsuji-sensei, even if later he unfortunately met with a misfortune, there was no regret. Although there were small accidents on the way back, Komaeda Nagito very quickly found the correct direction, and safely returned to the inn. He arrived a while later, then discovered that the innkeeper looked at him with a bit of a strange gaze. Hello. Komaeda Nagito slightly thought, then took the initiative to greet the other. Good afternoon, my uncle has returned? No. The innkeeper used a local Japanese accent to answer, however, just now someone saw your uncle and a female guest on the other side of the sandbank. The female guest, Komaeda Nagito vaguely remembers he met her once when he was having lunch at noon. She seems to be called Tsujimura. He heard someone call her that, but Tsujimura, this word, there are a lot of ways to write it, Komaeda Nagito is not sure how the other party's name is written, intentionally asked would be very strange, but it does not matter now. Komaeda Nagito then asked in surprise, which female guest? Miss Tsujimura Mizuki, you should have met at noon, what's wrong? Komaeda Nagito casually found a reason, nothing, I thought that my uncle can finally get married. Innkeeper. Komaeda Nagito did not care about the innkeeper's expression. After confirming the name, he immediately matches it with the other's world author's name. Although he only read one of Tsujimura Mizuki's books, but this name should belong to an author, she is probably also a talented person. On this small island, two talented people are gathered here, Komaeda Nagito really can't wait to quickly enter the big ending to see the moment that hope is released. The innkeeper looked at Komaeda Nagito's deep in thought appearance, suddenly tested, what are you thinking? Komaeda Nagito raised his head to look at him, suddenly laughed and said, just now when I got lost I discovered an underground tunnel. I think if you don't know about it yet, then you can form an exploration team to check it out, it would be very interesting. The innkeeper was surprised. Telling him just like that? That's right. The innkeeper already knew that the secret passage was discovered. Because this kind of important location definitely has surveillance. To be exact, the innkeeper actually watches the whole process where Komaeda Nagito plays on the phone, accidentally tripping, and opens the secret passage. From the beginning everyone was very nervous, some even think to take a shortcut, prepared to catch the turtle in the basket after Komaeda Nagito entered. They then saw Komaeda Nagito's appearance as if discovering a new tourist spot, took a bunch of photos, but did not enter, and also closed the entrance. This caused everyone to be confused, and did not know what to do next. In case he really has coincidentally discovered it, and does not suspect anything, if they react too fiercely, is it the same as startling the snake? But if they don't take it to heart, they may just be a step closer to prison. This group of people hurriedly informs the current situation to the mastermind, who is currently not on the island, hoping to be able to get instructions. Although they thought missing such a person was not a problem before, but when an incident arises, they choose to rely on the mastermind, shrinking their own responsibility so that if anything happens, they can say, "This is not my fault." Currently the mastermind has not replied yet, that's why the innkeeper doesn't know what to do with Komai de Nagito. Didn't think that he hadn't even started testing him yet. Komai de Nagito actually told him straight out, even using this kind of discovering something interesting tone. The innkeeper immediately relaxed. If he says that, that means he completely doesn't take it to heart, right? Maybe they don't need to be so worried. If you're talking about the passage that suddenly appears on the ground, yes, I know, that is the remnants of the previous Great War, there is nothing beautiful inside. The innkeeper intentionally used a gentle tone to reply. Okay. Komai de Nagito's expression is not a bit regretful. I also feel that there is nothing beautiful, just that the mechanism seems very interesting. The innkeeper's thoughts are completely within Komai de Nagito's expectation. On the way back he had been considering what he should do if there was surveillance at that place, wanting to avoid others' overreaction to their secrets being touched. The best way to deal with this is to show that you don't know that that place has a secret, along with a disinterested attitude. Sure enough, the innkeeper relaxed a little. This change is actually very small, but in Komai de Nagito's deliberately observant eyes it is very clear. They chatted for a few more. Komai de Nagito then said goodbye and goes upstairs. The innkeeper also quickly went to bring the new information to his companions. Yes, but... The sailor hesitated and said, "Aren't this kid encountering too many coincidences? Can we really believe that he does not know anything?" The monkey before brought him to an underground door. This time he got lost and directly opened the door. It's good that there are quite a few secret tunnels on the island. At most they could just change to another place, but this coincidence is too much. Any way you think about it, it really makes people suspicious. But what if he really doesn't know anything? If we do something, it will gather unwanted attention. How about that guy? Did he reply? Not yet. He replied. Everyone in the room gathers around the computer to read the message by the mastermind. He said to make preparations. If there is another suspicious behavior, no matter how reasonable it is, then get rid of him, including his uncle. The chef sighed. Also, don't know if he took the photo to post on the internet or not. Want me to directly cut off access to the internet? It will be much safer. If we want to cut off access, then we should have done it from the beginning. If we suddenly cut off the net, isn't that causing suspicion? Moreover, people nowadays don't want to go to places without the internet for vacation. Discussion. They again started to quarrel about their business methods. The chef looked at the clock, gave his grandson a look. Let's go, it's time to cook. It is approaching dinner time. As the core of the plan, the chef grandson Abe Hiroshi ability is called Do Butsu no Shiwa, Kanashi, can turn living people into animals, but there are conditions. 1. The target needs to eat food that passed by his hand. Moreover, the amount of food eaten requires reaching a certain level. 2. In the first month he can make the target switch between human and animals. The effect is minimal, but a month later, this person regardless of their mind or body will completely turn into an animal, and eventually cannot turn back. 3. In the first month, if the target dies as an animal, their body will turn back into a human appearance, but if they die after the first month, then they will maintain the animal appearance. This is the truth of the disappearance case on the island. They captured the chosen target and quietly moved their belongings. Even if someone came looking for the target, nothing would come of it, because the target had been transformed into a random animal. If the search is for a person, they won't find anything. After a month, they can kill this animal, or release them, because there is no more threat. And just now that message telling them to prepare, is to ensure that at any time they can let this suspicious teenager and his uncle turn into an animal, use this to eliminate the danger. In fact, they use these methods many times, much more than the 2 missing cases. The majority of animals have been killed by them, but like that especially beautiful bird, they let it live because of its beauty. As for that monkey, while they wanted to move it to another secret location, it seized the opportunity to take advantage of their relaxed vigilance and successfully escape. At that time, there is only less than a day left until the 1-month period. They thought about it and decided, too lazy to come and find it again. After all, wait a day later, that monkey will also completely lose its human consciousness. Yesterday, when they suddenly saw this monkey still able to lead people to the original secret tunnel, everyone was surprised, but then they thought about it, maybe because the monkey's intelligence quotient is higher than birds, goldfish and other things, so it still has a little subconscious. There are no problem with the ability, so they can rest assured, at most they can catch it again next time. And now, the chef is bringing his own grandson to cook, preparing to drug the targets. Cough cough, preparations for the ability, only then can they immediately transform the target when something happens. Actually, a similar situation has happened before, such as randomly turning the target into an animal, but it was a tiger, almost counter-killed them or something, but the general probability is still a small animal, so they don't need to worry too much. Hopefully this youth really just purely came to travel. The chef ordered his grandson to cut vegetables while praying. It's not that he is kind, it is just he don't want any additional complications during this time. Apart from the solo meal for the single traveler, the group tours meals, provided 3 times a day, are managed by the inn. They quickly finished preparing dinner and got ready to call the guests down to eat. But, we will not go down to eat. That novelist uncle said, we will eat the instant noodles we bring. It's not like we feel that your cooking is too bland. Chef. The chef went to inform the others. His expression was grim and asked, what to do? Is this considered suspicious behavior? They actually didn't eat. It shouldn't count. The others were also a little confused. How could they know that the food your grandson made can't be eaten? The chef said angrily, I feel like it counts. How could someone not like to eat the food I made? This is not a reason at all. They discussed it for half a day, and in the end still felt that it didn't count. The main reason was that no one could have known the conditions of the ability. At the same time, Ayatsuji-sensei also said in the room, they feel that no one knows, so if we don't eat once, it won't be suspicious. Your response this afternoon is also not bad. Shut up and listen to me. Komaeda Nagito smiled and made a gesture of pulling the zipper with his mouth. You can sleep in tomorrow, avoid breakfast, but lunch cannot be avoided again, try to eat less. Ayatsuji-sensei frowned, insufficient clues, still don't know if water counts, forget it, anyway you remember this for me. Ayatsuji-sensei stared at Komaeda Nagito, gritting each word, do not do anything to make them suspicious. Understand? Komaeda Nagito immediately nodded. Ayatsuji-sensei doubtfully looked at him for a moment, expressionlessly summarizing. Your promise, in front of your luck, has no persuasion. The truth proved, Ayatsuji-sensei's premonition was right. Because, even if he had given such an instruction, the next day, Komaeda Nagito was still missing. Chapter 17 End. Author's note. Komaeda, I will try not to be suspicious. The next day, become a missing residence. Ayatsuji. Tsujimura Mizuki, original novel side story, Ayatsuji-sensei vs. Kyo Goku Natsuhiko, Tsujimura Mizuki's mother, a member of the special division, the mother and daughter has the same name. Do Butsu no Shiwa, Kanashi. Author, Abe Hiroshi, this chapter borrowed this author's name and work, actually, this is also an illustrator. The original work did not say what the situation was with this serial disappearance and murder case on the island. I just made up everything, everyone can just accept it for now. Translator's note, I can't find the translated title for the animal ability things, but a rough translation is, Confessions of Life and Death in a Zoo.